Because of YouTube says we're reviewing Back to the Future
Part 2.
Enjoy the review. Hey, it's the Entertainment Aids, and today we are going to review Back to the Future Part 2.
The sequel of my favorite movie!
Yes, Michael Segal's favorite movie franchise. Anyway, so it cuts back to the end of the first movie where Marty McFly goes up to the truck where his girlfriend is going to come up with him later. Anyway, so IMDb gives us a 7.8 out of 10.
That's really great. Anyway, Rotten Tomatoes gives us, what, the 63? That's not right.
I actually thought, well, you know what, forget it. I'll agree with what they think. And this gives it a 5.7. Okay, come on. That's just too cruel for this movie. Whatever. Anyway, so basically Marty is happy to see his girlfriend again, and just like the first movie, basically Doc Brown comes in with the DeLorean and crashes into his garbage can.
Here we go again. And we all know the drill. You know.
Yeah.
Marty, you gotta come back with me.
Yeah, he tells him it's about his kids and to bring along his girlfriend.
Yeah, basically because it concerns her too. And Doc needs fuel, which apparently in the year 2015, garbage is fuel.
Powered by stuff. Okay.
Of course.
Anyway, so Biff basically comes in out of nowhere, the house, and he notices the DeLorean, and he's trying to show him something, but he was just like, what the heck is going on?
At that point, he realizes that something looks familiar. And so now they travel
Back to the Future.
which is the title of this movie.
Anyway, so basically our credits roll as we see Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Thomas F. Wilson.
And then we get into the year 2015, which is not like what it was last year.
Yeah, I mean, just really. Anyway, so Jennifer just keeps on asking Doc questions about the year 2015 as well. She's naturally surprised because, I mean, she didn't really have that much of a role in the last movie with this, so naturally she's a little surprised about, well, this in general.
And she wants to know about her future.
Yeah, by the way, this is not the same actress from the last movie, this is a different one. Anyway, so she thinks that they get to see their wedding until Doc realizes, okay, she's asking too many questions. So she knocks her out for basically about an hour. And because of the fact remains that, well, she was asking too much questions, so that way she'll think it was all just some one weird dream. So they land in some random area where Doc basically tells Martin to wait 5 more seconds so that way the rain would stop.
And what she just did. Sort of.
Yeah, sorta, kinda. Just wait a sec. Anyway, it's just pouring at the moment.
Yeah, so
It
he's
clears
actually...
up.
And then we revealed that he was wearing just a face mask, but he's actually still looking the same. And Marty's pretty curious about the future.
Yeah, because, well, you know, how famous he is, how rich he is.
He mostly cares about being rich.
Yeah, he is rich, though.
Yeah. Anyway, so he tells him to put on this clothes just to make him look like, well, spoiler alert, his son.
Yeah, and for record, everybody, well, Doc is just running, and Nike apparently actually did make those sneakers. Anyway, so we see Marty McFly Jr., who is just basically, well, clumsy. As you can see here, Artie's getting ready, but fun fact, everybody, those sneakers were actually made by Nike recently.
And Michael J. Fox actually owns those.
Yeah. Yeah, they're actually real tie-on laces now.
And then he puts on this little spring-loaded jacket, but he thinks it's a little too long, but until Doc Brown actually pushes the button. So now they have to carry her somewhere else to make her avoid being seen from someone.
Yeah, basically, Doc reveals that he went further into the future to the point where he traced it back to the events where his son got basically arrested, and then a few days later his daughter would get arrested, and it was some weird unnatural event. Anyway, as you can see here in the future, it's starting to look really more...
With vacuum cars.
Yeah, I mean, just really. Oh yeah, 2015. I remember that year. Man, with all the futuristic flying cars everywhere, and not to mention Goldie Wilson's grandson was mayor, and not to mention the actual hoverboards that you were actually allowed you to actually hover, if you get my meaning. And it's just like, I mean, it's just really interesting. And it was really an amazing future. But man, it's just a shame that they got rid of all that within the space of a couple of months, am I right?
Yeah. And so Marty goes up to the theater where Jaws 19 actually exists.
Well, yeah, man. Don't you remember that trailer for Jaws 19?
Yeah, totally. Anyway, a projector screen, which is a hologram, actually involves a shark, and he thinks he's gonna get eaten.
Ah!
What was that? Anyway, then he comes across the sports almanac, which is a very important figure in this movie.
Yeah, basically, it shows every single winning sports race from 1950 to 2000. Anyway, so they arrive in the Cafe 80s, and it does not look like the 80s.
Not one bit.
If you think this was made in the 80s,
Yeah.
it's a. You think they would know of all time periods. Anyway, so basically, they run into the older version of the Biff Tannen, and yes, it's Thomas F. Wilson still, who basically says that, well, something that Marty's going to do something in the future that screwed over his life. And he doesn't know what the heck he's talking about yet because, well, he's Marty before that.
And then some bullies come in through the window.
These bullies, where Thomas F. Wilson plays also Biff's grandson, Griff Tannen. Man, Biff Griff, what next? Diff.
Yeah, anyway, he's shown to be like a real jerk about it, and then he does this.
Hello, anybody home? Yeah, he never changed. Anyway, so basically he tells him not to move. Doc basically explains to Marty that Griff is gonna ask him if he's in or out. They told him basically to just say no. Anyway, so Marty's son comes in out of nowhere, who basically, well,
gets beaten up by all these bullies, including Griff.
Yeah, basically keeping short, Doc, well, because he knocked out, well, his girlfriend, he couldn't sustain for a full hour soon after he got up. Anyway.
And Marty notices how much of a weak person he is, so he actually tries to save him by telling him to shut the hell up and he's gonna take care of it.
Yeah, basically, Marty takes his place because he looks almost exactly like him.
He tells the people around him not to move, so Marty makes his move, and he shows that he's not afraid of them.
Yeah, basically, when did he become the physical type?
Yeah, and now they end up intimidating him when they call him a chicken, and that makes him pissed.
Yeah, so basically Griff takes out of nowhere this random bat and even a chicken sounding thing. When basically he tempts Marty even more, to the point where basically he, the usual, nobody calls him chicken.
And so he throws his hat down, and then once Griff is about to hit him with a baseball bat, he is kind of like, okay. And then he actually hits this TV.
Yeah, anyway, so he tries to do what he did to his grandfather at one point in the past, but it doesn't really work. He just take a look.
So to avoid this, he actually tries to hit him, but he blocks his way and shows how to win. And he clicks him in the balls and pounds these guys away and runs for himself. And then we get to the same chase scene with very similar chase scene from the first movie, where this is where he actually wants to hoverboard, a real hoverboard, not those like Segway kind of hoverboard.
Yeah, I mean, just really.
And so he steals this little girl and notices a hoverboard?
That is a hoverboard, not that stuff.
And it actually looks like it floats. And this is what I really think is this movie to that exact. And notes that they actually see that he's getting away, so they actually have their own.
Yeah, and boy, that's CG.
And boom, he fails for the first time. Even though but Marty's looks even more realistic than these.
Yeah, that's clearly CGI.
Yeah, anyway, in a bad type way. Anyway, when he comes across the back of the truck, they're still after him, and so Griff wants to actually get him, but it looks like his hovercraft does not work during water.
Yeah, basically, unless he has some power. Anyway, so Griff decides to,
grab something of his own, which is a gigantic hoverboard that has a bunch of cables on it to attach all three of them on, and boom, he's got his baseball bat, so you all know what he's gonna do.
Yeah, you know the drill.
Anyway, so Marty can't escape as this does not work over water, and the only way to escape is to actually jump down into the water, as Biff is actually about to closely hit him. And that's exactly what Marty does.
Yeah, so basically, because of the fact remains that he missed, as a result of that, it causes them to completely crash into that and costs that company maybe a couple $100,000.
As all the glass spills on the floor. Anyway, Marty escapes from this completely, and his new jacket actually has a built-in dryer.
Yeah, go figure. Anyway, so he tries to give the girl back her hoverboard,
but she likes the better one.
Yeah, so basically, he decides to buy the space almanac so that way he'd be able to, win bets for the next 15 years of his life.
And he reunites back with Doc Brown.
Yeah, basically, he tries to head home with Doc, but Doc just wonders what the heck happened there, first of all. Anyway, so the old Biff Tannen notices the same car as he did 30 years earlier.
And then he notices the young version, well, not the young, his son, and then he realizes, why are there two Martys?
Yeah, and so like I said before, Doc just wonders what the heck happened here. And then Doc realized that because he knocked out Jennifer, he wasn't able to sustain that for the whole hour that he originally planned to. And Biff overhears all this and learns that Doc Brown invented a time machine. But because of this event, history had officially changed, so now Griff went to jail. So the event that Marty's son was originally supposed to go to get him arrested can't happen now because the fact remains, well, they're in jail.
And he tells him that he cannot take this along with him.
Because, well, he did not invent the time machine to become rich and famous. He invented it in order to visit the future in the past.
That's when they notice that two cops get Jennifer and notice that they think that she's actually the part of the future because, you know, since they have this new scanning thing to show who she really is, they actually think she's at the right age at this year.
Yeah, basically they think that she looks good for a 47-year-old.
So they decide to take her home as Doc Brown and Marty actually look away. But what they actually don't realize is that they had taken them away and that the car is actually hovering over. Well, about to hover over in that matter. This is happening while it's actually behind their backs. But when they actually do turn around, well, then it actually comes towards them and they gotta hide.
Yeah, basically, hide!
Worst CG ever!
Yeah, but what were they gonna say to them? Hey, we're two people from the future.
Yeah, so then he tells them that he's gonna dispose of this and put it in the
past.
Yeah, and put them in those bins right behind him, and then they storm out only for old Biff to come and notice it.
Yeah, basically, he says, so Doc Brown invented the time machine. He realizes this is his chance to become rich and famous and more powerful.
And so he knows what he is gonna do with this thing.
Yeah. Anyway, so
when the cops bring her back home, she notices something weird going around as her daughter.
Yeah, basically she realizes that she's in the future.
She can't escape because she has to touch her finger on that little pad there, but she can't do it, so she hides in the closet as her daughter comes downstairs.
Yeah, I think her daughter would just have been shocked. Anyway, so Doc thinks that somebody was following them, and so it's secondary, but he assumes it's nothing. Anyway, so
his son comes in and wants to, kind of watch the different TV channels, and then we get introduced to Marty McFly in 2015.
Yeah, who actually doesn't look that bad for basically
an older version.
Yeah, he actually does kind of look like Marty.
Yeah, so basically they have to go back in to save her, which they actually did.
Yeah.
And that they're stuck in some traffic, and they just disappear.
Yeah, basically.
Very great way to get out of traffic.
Yeah, good way. Anyway, so they got her back, and then they decided to take her home to the year 2000, to the present. But what wasn't shown was basically on how, well, actually was on how Biff stole the time machine. So, yeah.
Basically, they drag her into her house and put her onto the porch so that she'll wake up in the morning and they'll convince her in the dream. But that's when Marty goes into someone else's house, which he thought was his own. And boom, he starts a big thing where one of the kids is screaming and his dad comes in with a baseball bat. And Marty tries to tell him that it was a big mistake, but he keeps trying to get him to get out as he tries to hit him, but instead hits everything. And then Marty starts to realize that something is wrong here.
Yeah, I mean, just look at this! Look at it! What are you...
At first he thinks that this is not 1985 and thinks he's in a different time period. Though it is when he looks at the local newspaper and realizes something is terribly wrong as Mr. Strickland behind him is carrying a gun pointed at Marty. And for some reason he doesn't know who he is.
Yeah, basically Marty tells him he gave him detention last week, and then he says basically that the school burned down 60 years ago.
Yeah, basically he tells him to get off as a bunch of people start shooting at his house just so, I don't know.
Yeah, just random.
They come in with guns, and this is just a very bad neighborhood to live in now.
Yeah. Maybe that's where the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air got the idea.
Yeah, and so everything's wrong around Marty as he notices that a lot of the people look different, as well as the entire area that he's in, when he notices the Biff Tower Hotel, which looks like a very nice hotel from Las Vegas.
Yeah, it really does. Then we go to Las Vegas, apparently.
So you got a big, fancy hotel in a crappy city like this, okay?
Go figure. Yeah, that's pretty much what I would mention Biff would do.
And it's also a casino on the bottom, which most
Yeah.
hotels in Las Vegas
Basically,
are.
if you're wondering what happened, keep things short. Old Biff stole the time machine in between and basically went back in time and gave it to his past self to cause all this.
And that's when Marty actually watches a small documentary of how this guy is born, by the way.
Basically, Beaver and all of his head. You'll remember him for the next one.
Anyway, so he notices how he actually won a lot of money from all these horse races, bets, and other sports awards and stuff, and that he was claimed to be one of the luckiest men on Earth.
You know, he was called the luckiest man on Earth.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's just a big fame and fortune and very popular and rich. Until one of his guards actually come in and know that, Biff does not like Marty.
Yeah, and basically the mother comes in basically and says that, well, they're on the 27th floor, and that's when Marty's just wondering what the heck is going on here.
Yeah, basically he's like, what's wrong with his mom? Because his mom looks a bit different than what she really was. That is until Biff shows up. I mean, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so Biff basically literally threatens them like crazy. Seriously, Biff is just nuts here.
Yeah, because he really does not like Marty at all. I mean, basically he keeps on arguing with his wife, and then he just...
Well, he keeps on insisting to the point where basically...
Once he harmed her, Marty wants to just get at him, but then that proves to be a big mistake because he actually confronts him right then and there.
Yeah, basically literally threatening him, and basically, you get this.
Yeah, but then he punches him in the stomach like the dirtbag that he is, and he has to leave as... but the problem is that she cannot survive without him.
Yeah, because even though he threatens her kids more and more, literally all three of them.
And then Marty starts asking his mother what's going on, as she told him that we can't survive without him.
Yeah, basically he's just wondering like what the heck is going on there, basically, and he's just wondering, and now he's just wondering where the heck is his real dad, George McFly.
Once he mentions it, she tells him that he's dead.
Yeah, that was just odd.
But he comes up to his grave, and then that all hope is lost for Marty as his actual father is dead.
Yeah, and basically it's revealed that he died on March 5th, on March 1973. Basically, Doc and him wondering like what the heck is going on here.
And then Doc thinks he found the solution to this problem because he probably knows why this all happened.
Yeah, basically explaining that, well, at some point in the past, Biff stole the time machine and went into the past, and basically because of that, the timeline skewed into this alternate 1985.
Which is a bad thing.
You think?
Yeah. Basically what he did was he gave him that book, and he used it to win all that, all those races and stuff, and now they have to retrieve that book. They have to go back in time to retrieve the book to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, basically they realized that it was old Biff from the future's cane was
who
there.
Stole the DeLorean because a part of his cane was inside the driver's seat.
Yeah, so that just came out of nowhere. But wait, how did he go back into that future if he altered... the time travel movie always gets confusing.
Anyway, once they figure out what to do, they realize they got a big mission ahead of them.
Yeah, basically they have to figure out how, where, and when.
And exactly what Marty really has to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mike is just going to explain to you what their actual plan was.
Well, not Marty and Doc's, more like the producers behind the scenes. You see, the original plan was actually to get back the actor that played George McFly, and for them to go back in time to the 60s and deal with this once and for all, because in the movie, basically, Biff got rich in the late 50s, so they figured to go to the 60s and stop him from becoming a big millionaire. But the problem essentially was that the actor that played George McFly, he was unavailable. Well, not really unavailable, actually. He wanted more money at the time, so they decided to do something different. Rather than simply just paying the money, they decided to, well, literally go back to the first movie now.
Anyway, they realized that it was that sports almanac that he used as it was shown in the newspaper itself.
Yeah, basically they had to figure out how, where, and when did, old Biff go back into the future, go back into the past, and what was the exact date so that way they could grab it before he makes his fortune. So basically, he shows them that what had happened to him now if they traveled into the future. Because if they traveled into the future, and well, you get there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they were watching this cowboy movie that you actually have to remember a certain scene that happens because it's going to be a plot point for the next one. Anyway, so Marty says Gray Sports Almanac, and that's when, okay, it's time to get serious.
So he calls him into his office and he tells him why he wants the book, and then he shows him that he keeps it in his locked box as Marty actually steals a pack of his matches, which is actually an important plot point with this.
Yeah, anyway, so Biff explains that on November 12th, 1955, he met this old man.
Yeah, but now he's going to shoot him.
Because the old Biff warned him if a scientist or a kid went literally
he would kill them.
Yeah.
If they found him.
If they found him, basically, and asked him about it. Anyway, so Biff threatens them to jump, and basically he says that he owns the police.
Yeah, that was terrible. And he ends up jumping. But before you all think, he's not dead because, fortunately, for the DeLorean, it actually saved his life.
Oh, of course it did.
I mean, Doc Brown was under there the whole time.
Yeah, he literally, and then he knocks him out, and
with the door.
Yeah, so the present day Biff Tannen is defeated. And so now they have to deal with one other one. So basically, Marty tells them they have to go back in time to November 12th, 1955. Yeah, you remember that date from the first movie.
Yeah, basically in order to, get the book.
Yeah, so basically, Doc basically explains that there are now 2 pins and 2 pins.
So you gotta be very careful and don't make eye contact with yourself.
Yeah, one could talk to you and have eye contact with you, but not the other at the same time.
Yeah, basically he gives them some binoculars and a pack of walkie-talkies so that they can communicate with each other, but just make sure he gives them some money through time periods. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it really is. Man, Doc comes prepared.
And he tells them to go buy some 50s clothing and to blend in like that.
Really? That's conspicuous?
Yeah, so he's outside Biff's house, and we can see that Biff is actually a big jerk.
Yeah, past Biff is just a jerk.
He's a motherfucker, everybody.
Yeah, basically, we got that music again from Mr. Sandman.
And so while he's being a jerk, Marty's constantly following him as we see, old Biff.
Basically remembering the manure incident, how it cost him $300.
Yeah, basically Biff is angry at this mechanic for not doing something good with his car, as Marty actually, in the scene before, jumped into the back seat. But she's under this blanket as he points all these cans of oil and stuff.
Anyway, so
he starts to harass Marty's mother.
Yeah, and basically he insists to go to the dance with her, and she refuses, saying that she's going with Calvin Klein. Yeah, remember that was Marty's identity from the first movie.
Yeah. Anyway, he tries to force her to go in, as he actually looks like he's about to sexually harass her, and she kicks him in the leg and hits him with a box. And then the old and young Biff make eye contact with each other, and he tells them that he's going to make his life rich and stuff.
Yeah, basically, he tells him just to get into the car, and he's just wondering how the heck does he know how to start the engine, because only he knows that, even though they're the same person.
Yeah, basically, he's going to tell him that he's going to make everything good for him, and they go into his garage, which is where his house is.
Yeah, and basically, he explains a bit about the almanac and how it'll tell him everything he needs to know pretty much for the next 50 years, so he can't lose.
Yeah, basically, he can use this to bet, and he shows this by using the radio.
Yeah, basically, it explains about a horse race on how it's currently at 16 to 17. And so he looks into the book and he bets him $100,000. He bets him like $1 million that he'll come around and win 19 to 17. But the past Biff basically says that he lost, but he didn't. It actually ended up 19 to 17.
Yeah, basically now Marty is locked into his garage. Why would you lock it or whatever?
Yeah.
And now he's trapped because he can't go through the windows, and he has to call Doc for help.
All right then.
Anyway, he radios into him and tells him that he has to go get him because he's trapped in Biff's garage and Biff still has the book.
Yeah, so basically, old Biff succeeded, at least he thinks he succeeded, in giving his past self the book. So
anyway, he still hides into his back seat as he's going to dance.
Yeah, and so basically they're just, backing out.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe that scene.
But now we have Doc, who's riding on a bicycle disguised as a 50s man. Is too late because he actually comes into his
literally
garage.
Just missed him.
Yeah, why is it still open? Whatever. He locked it before. Anyway, he notices that Marty is missing, and now he has to go find out where he went now.
Yeah, basically he tries to, and then they went into a tunnel, so they had to close it. Anyway, so
Also, his radio was interfering with
the tunnel.
and with the car's radio as well.
Yeah, and then he realizes, wait, this is where I was working on the time machine.
To get Marty into the future, in the first movie.
Yeah,
and that's
so-
the DeLorean. He notices it.
Yeah, basically, so now we also have 2 DeLoreans.
Basically. So if you don't have one, you got the other. Anyway, so he actually tries to talk to Marty, but not only with the
His
other
past self.
Doc,
The other Doc.
and
Basically,
he asks him for assistance to help him, set up this entire thing.
yeah. Anyway, so he remembers that he called it basically a weather experiment, so basically he played along.
Anyway, he refuses to make eye contact with him because if he does, then there's a chance he will pass out.
Yeah.
Like Jennifer did.
Yeah, a little bit didn't for some reason. Anyway, so they actually have a pretty good conversation with each
I
other.
mean, not looking at each other as they're both looking up.
Yeah, well, to be fair, though, the present day Doc doesn't know that.
Yeah, anyway, so Biff makes it into the school and Marty follows along.
Yeah, and so now it's where things start to get a little complicated.
And a little bit familiar.
Yeah, I believe you remember this scene.
Anyway, so Marty looks at Biff because we noticed that Biff has the book and he's looking at some naughty stuff as well as pouring alcohol into like a punch bowl or something. And before they can get caught, Marty hides between these three because he doesn't want them to see him. And then he sees himself.
From the first movie.
Right.
This is, like I said, they're reusing the first movie now.
Anyway, he tries to grab it, but not only for Mr. Strickland to stop Biff because he knows he's in a lot of trouble as he was the one who saw him pour all that alcohol into that punch bowl.
Yeah, and basically now he's angry at him, so basically he notices the space almanac, the Gray Sports Almanac, and literally takes it from him.
And he doesn't know what it is, and he makes him explain himself.
Yeah, even though it turned out to be, well, not the almanac.
Right.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself how the heck did...
Anyway, he gets to stop with him and tells him to just knock off his shit and leave. And then Marty sneaks by the car that he was in the first movie.
Yeah, so that was odd. And we got this really intense scene of him trying to sneak in and grab the almanac.
Which is very risky. Anyway, for some stupid reason, Mr. Strickland actually just doesn't look away from him. Okay, well, anyway, and Marty tries to grab the almanac, but he has to move that flag out of the way, in which he actually does right here.
And every single time, it looks like he's about to turn back to the almanac.
And then when he closes the door, he notices something. And Marty was almost about to get caught.
Yeah, he even hurt his hand.
Yeah, that's actually coming up right now. Anyway, so when he sees something, he just backs up.
Oh, that's gonna leave a mark.
Yeah, he crushes his hand, and then without making a single noise, he ends up not getting caught. You're very good at sneaking around, Marty.
Yeah, you're definitely also very lucky.
Anyway, when he finds out that is not the magazine, it was only the book cover.
Ooh la la was the actual book there.
That Biff was actually reading at the dance.
Well, Old Biff tells him to keep it on him at all times, so...
Anyway,
yeah,
he tells Doc Brown that Biff could be anywhere now, but not only looking that George is being about to get his arm broken by Biff from the first movie.
Yeah, and then...
But that's when Marty realizes.
Oh, this is right when George was about to bang there.
Yeah, anyway, he found him, and boom, then we get a scene where he punches Biff, and then we got Marty and everybody looking around.
Yeah, so
Past
anyway,
Marty, that is.
Yeah, so anyway, the past Marty now realizes that, well, his sister's now half gone,
And
so
now
he has to run.
Yeah, basically now he wants to intervene, and he tells everybody to back up and tells them he knows CPR. But unfortunately, people in the 50s had no idea what CPR is.
Wait,
And-
what?
Yeah, basically the only way to solve the problem is by straight up punching him back.
Yeah, and basically...
He steals it, and
Yeah,
this guy thinks he stole his wallet.
Yeah, that comes back again later.
Yeah, basically he actually topples them over like every single time.
Yeah, that's, how many strikes is that right now? 3?
I don't know.
I don't know,
Anyway,
90 points.
so Doc actually heads towards the dance. Unfortunately for these little flags on his string, that he get caught from the wheels, which is actually an important part.
And his time and basically, for some reason, the time machine is a little malfunctioning, sending it back to January 1st, 1885 for some reason.
Anyway, he hides from these guys under the table, but they think that he's on stage because from the first movie, he was performing Johnny B. Good.
Yeah, man. Well, you know the drill, guys.
Yeah, now since they think that he is the actual one they were after, he has to stop literally himself from getting beaten up.
Yeah, and so that way everything could return to normal for his past self. And
Biff asked where the hell Marty went, and they told him that he went back into the building.
and that guy still thinks he stole his wallet.
He didn't.
And basically, those three think he changed clothes very fast.
Yeah, anyway, Marty McFly has the idea to go onto stage and to try to get rid of those three assholes. And I said assholes because they are assholes. But not as much of an asshole as Biff. Biff!
This is not Bill Cipher or Bill Sykes.
Yeah, anyway, so he actually ends up climbing a ladder unseen by those guys,
Yeah.
or unseen by anybody for that matter, because
including
literally people could just literally look up.
Yeah, including Marvin Berry here.
Anyway, he's actually makes all those topple onto them, and that's when Marty ends his song with everybody staring, just like, you know this from the first movie. Anyway, Biff actually catches him, and now Marty's in a lot of trouble, and once he's about to go away, Biff once again calls him a chicken.
Yeah, meanwhile, the past scene with the past Marty,
And there we go, we have Marty once again pissed off.
Yeah, and so basically, the past Marty says goodbye to George and Moraine, and basically,
Once he's about to confront Biff,
the past Marty literally just knocks himself out.
literally when he comes rushing out the door, which he does right now.
Man, I kind of wonder what the heck did he think after that. Huh, my past
Anyway,
self knocked me out.
Since he's sort of knocked out, he kicks him in the stomach for stealing his stuff and for just like
Wrecking his car from the first movie again.
yeah. Now this we can really see how much of a really big jackass this guy is, and Marty cannot stop him from getting away because he has to get that book.
Yeah, now he can't, and he has to run for it. Then he explains to Doc what the heck just happened.
So he asks Doc, we have no time, we have to chase him down.
Yeah, but the storm is coming.
Anyway, they're flying
by Biff's car.
Yeah, basically Marty has to get the book unseen by Biff, which is
Yeah.
very risky.
And using the hoverboard, because, well, again, he was allowed to keep it.
Yeah, basically he actually has to hide behind his car and attempt to get it. Anyway, he turned on his radar for some reason, and while
He turned it on so that to see if it was true or not. Anyway, so
he
noticed.
catches him.
Yeah, and now we ended up with some fight, and lucky for him, he was on a hoverboard, or he would have lost his skateboard.
Yeah, basically they fight over it, but he gets on the front of his windshield, and now Biff literally tries to lose him and gets
And literally tries to ram him.
Yeah, like seriously, this guy has no heart at all.
Well,
Anyway, so they keep going down as Marty actually tries to grab him for him, and then they go through a tunnel. Well, they're about to go through a tunnel, and before Marty was about to literally get smashed,
and ram him again.
yeah. Anyway, so he actually goes on the other side of the car, and Biff notices there and punches him a couple times.
Yeah, and this time, however, he is actually able to succeed in grabbing the almanac because Biff has to dodge the truck.
And boom, he got it, but unfortunately Biff turns right around, and now Marty has a long way as the tunnel's huge, and he has to leave. Anyway, he takes the book inside him, and he starts up the hoverboard.
Yeah.
Right before Biff actually starts the car, but Biff actually is turning up the speed as he's actually getting ready to, literally ram. Anyway, he floors it down the tunnel.
What?
Yeah, basically, Marty is not even going faster as
because
usually
he
was.
doesn't have enough power.
Yeah, anyway, Biff is gaining up on him, and Marty's so close to literally being run over.
Yeah, to the point where, well, he's about to get run over, but fortunately for Marty, that manure truck is back from the first movie.
And then we got this flag streak. See, I told you it was important to the plot.
Yeah, so fortunately, Doc caught him while Biff once again gets rammed into the manure again.
What's with all these manure trucks?
I don't know.
Everybody, I think Biff has a curse. I think manure trucks are going to be in his way every time he screws something up.
Yeah, really, man?
Anyway,
It's manure!
Anyway, Marty is forced to, burn this thing, even though he really wants to use it to become rich. But it's more important because Doc cannot let him use it.
Yeah, so basically, he uses the matches he got from the present-day Biff and burns the book.
Perfectly, and because he had those matches, well, I honestly couldn't see any other way he would burn it.
Yeah, so that was, I guess, a good thing.
Anyway, so he looks at that newspaper and noticed that it's changed to George McFly being honored instead of murdered. So his father's
alive.
Yeah. And then that Doc Brown also looks at his newspaper too.
Yeah, he was originally condemned, but now he's being,
commended, which is a good thing. Anyway, he's happy about it too, but Marty tells him that he has to watch out because if he gets struck by lightning, he's gone for good.
Or at the very least, sent back. to wherever that time period he'll be headed to.
Yeah, but anyway, when the lightning strikes a tree, Marty really tells him to be careful.
Yeah, only for basically the lightning to strike the time machine and basically generating the 1.21 gigawatts that was needed to send him back in time.
Marty tells him you gotta watch out because right after that, it actually does get struck.
Yeah, and it's basically forced back into the past.
Goodbye. And now that's when Marty realizes Doc is gone and he's stuck here for now.
Yeah, basically he's stuck for the rest of the movie, and then the rain from the first movie basically finally comes.
Yeah, basically we didn't get to see any rain, but the string flags still come, and when it starts raining, a car behind him starts coming.
And Family Guy ripped this off.
And anyway, so it's a guy who asks him if he's Marty, and he tells him that he's got something for him, which is a letter.
Yeah, basically, he explains that, yeah, he is Marty, but he just wonders who the heck is he.
Yeah, it's some mysterious guy. He hands him an envelope, which he actually said was a letter.
Yeah, but it was waiting there for 70 years, 2 months, 12 days to be exact.
Yeah, but and then he looks and it's actually from Dr. Brown.
Yeah, basically, and that guy was actually having bets with the other people there that he wasn't going to show up, so he lost some money. Anyway, so Doc basically told him that he was spending the last 8 months in 1885, and basically
when he reads it, and he told him it was actually 70 years, and it's shown that it was 1885, and he's happy because he's alive.
Yeah. Anyway, so that guy asked him, does he need any help? But Marty says that there's only one other person that can help him.
Yeah, so he's actually very excited that Doc is actually alive, and since that there's another DeLorean in the same place, we have a scene from the first movie as Doc is trying to connect the cables. But he successfully connects those, but the other two by the tree aren't, so he has to sacrifice his life and actually do it himself.
Not sacrifice his life, more like risk it, because lightning.
That's what I meant. Yeah, and then the DeLorean actually leaves right before
and yeah, that scene from the first movie again.
Yeah, and the DeLorean is completely gone, and Marty's a bit too late.
Yeah, anyway, so Marty tells him basically that he's back. He's back from the future because he's the only one that can help him out, this version of Doc.
Yeah. And
basically our movie ends with Doc Brown passing out because the fact remains that Marty is back from the future.
And he cannot believe his eyes.
Yeah.
So, and as you said, Mike, he just passes out.
Yeah, anyway, so we get a to be concluded with scenes from the next movie.
Yeah, it's also the Family Guy ripped this ending off as well, and the same exact episode. Anyway, basically, since it's going to be continued, as you said, now we have some scenes from the third movie because this is actually an advertising thing.
Yeah, because parts 2 and 3 were filmed back to back, so they were immediately when the second one was done, they got started on the third.
Basically.
Yeah. Anyway, so
we got a couple scenes which we're not going to talk about till we review it.
To the old west.
So, what? A beef overview.
Beef overview?
Yes, you said it before.
It is not a beef overview. It is brief overview.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, it is beef overview.
Anyway, what'd you think of this film?
Fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Gold stars all around for this movie.
I mean, some of these ratings should have been a little higher.
I'm surprised that it was mixed.
Wow.
Because in my opinion, it's good. Just good.
That's good?
Yes, it's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
A great follow-up, and I'm looking forward to when we cover part 3.
Which won't be for a long, long time. What are you doing?
I'm crying because it won't be for a very long time. What do you give it? Because I give it a maybe.
I would give it a 10 out of 10.
Really?
It's very good and a lot better than the movie, even though the first movie had a lot of the same things in the second. So.
Yeah, that's why I only give it a 9.
And I can't wait to see part 3. Me too. Good night, everybody. If you're watching in, I don't know, Japan.
Next review.
Whenever. Goodbye.